The number of Christmas tree growers has actually declined, especially in Indiana, since we started probably 30 years ago. It just seems like there's fewer and fewer people that want to do it. What's required obviously is land, and the type of land is important, particularly if you're going to raise fir species. You need a well-drained soil, you need to have the pH adjusted, and you need to have a lot of fertilizer. In the old days when everybody was growing Scotch pine and white pine, it was relatively easy because those species are tolerant of typical Indiana conditions, whereas fir is not. So you need to have a land base. You need to have, when you start to sell, you probably need to have some sort of facility for people to get in and out of the weather. Some days are great and beautiful, you don't need it, but over the course of 4 or 5 weeks of the selling season, you're going to need it for sure, at least part of that time. You need to keep in mind that it will be 6 to 7 years before you get any income. And that's probably one of the things that's the most difficult for new people to buy into this kind of farming expedition. It just takes 6 to 7 years to get the trees, so you're investing until that time. If you're not too experienced, there's things that can go wrong. Quality of the trees is certainly important. If you let the weeds get out of control, it's going to reduce the quality of the trees, so you need to keep the weeds under control. Insect and disease problems can be an issue, but in a first-time planting, they're typically not too serious, I don't believe, because it's the first time those trees have been in that location, and it takes time for these insects and disease to build up. So when you start going into second and third generation plantings, then the probability of issues increases. When you start out, you can't plant all your land the first year. You need to have a rotation established. And so every year you plant the number of trees that you think you can sell. And the first year it may be difficult to sell very many trees because people don't know you're there. So you're investing in advertising and you're building a clientele base. And then hopefully you'll increase the number of trees that you can sell every year as you continue on. But you need to have a plan, and don't plant too many trees all at once, or pick year 3 and say I'm going to double my number this year. Probably not a good idea, and then you'll have a surplus of trees.